make 3 times the rent, here's what you can do. Making 3 times the rent is really the downfall when it comes to anything, because that's the first thing that they're going to check is if you make 3 times the rent. So go ahead, take notes, do what you have to do so you can remember this information when you start to apply for an apartment. Number 1, start finding apartments with different income requirements. That is very important when it comes to trying to get an apartment when you know you don't make 3 times the rent. You want to make sure that if that apartment tells you, oh, you have to make 3 times the rent, you know you don't, try finding apartments where they're more lenient when it comes to the income requirements, and they say, okay, well, as long as you're close to it, then we'll go ahead and do it. Or, oh, maybe you just need to make 2.5 times the rent or 2 times the rent. A lot of apartments are lenient when it comes to that, so you just have to find an apartment that is like that. Number 2, now if you're moving in with somebody else, try, if they allow you to combine the incomes. So many people, and that's why so many people always tell you, oh, I want to get a roommate, because you can combine the income and you'll get approved and you don't have to pay all the rent by yourself. But you have to know if that apartment allows that. Some apartments do not allow that for you to combine the income, and some do. A majority do. So you want to ask if they do that, because if they don't do that and you know you don't make 3.5 times or 3 times the rent by yourself, and they don't allow you to combine your income with someone else, then you probably would have to go somewhere else. But always ask if you can combine your income with whoever else you're moving in with. And this is especially for people who are deciding to move in with anybody else. Number 3, a cosigner. If you know that you really, really need that apartment, or you want that apartment, and they're telling you, oh, you can't get it because you need a cosigner now because you don't make 3.5 times the rent, pick a cosigner. And I want to say this, pick a cosigner that you know makes a good amount of money, because a lot of times you cannot pick anybody as your cosigner. And I think a lot of people get that messed up. They just think, oh, I can get a cosigner. But if that cosigner has horrible credit or they don't make a lot of money, then they will not allow you to use them as a cosigner, because they're not reliable either. So you want to find somebody that you know has good credit, or that you know makes a good amount of money to where they're allowed to be on there as well. Because again, if they're not making that money or have a good credit score, they're probably not going to let them on. Now, this one may kind of offend a little bit of people. Number 4. Find an apartment that kind of matches your income. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being so for real, because so many people, and I blame it on social media, that people see apartments and they think, oh my gosh, like I want my apartment to look aesthetic like that. And it's cool. It's cool. I was the same way. You know that apartment is asking you for 3 times the rent, and you don't make 3 times the rent, or you know that it's kind of pushing it if you have to get that apartment because you're stretching it real thin because you want that apartment, then go find something that you know is reasonable for you, that you know you can afford. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing wrong with not getting the nicest apartment. At the end of the day, you can decorate that thing and it look like the nicest thing on the block. I don't care what nobody say. You don't have to get a fancy apartment. You can get something that's within your price range, within your means, within your income, and there's nothing wrong with that. Last but not least, asking the leasing office the income requirements before you actually apply. Like, that is a big one. So many people have told me that they apply for these apartments and they don't be knowing if they're going to get denied or approved. You should kind of have a feeling whether or not you're going to get denied or approved. I'm just saying. And you need to know what you're applying for. That's why I always say, ask the leasing agent, ask the leasing office what they're requiring. They may tell you have to have a 620 in order to apply, or you know, to get approved. You may have to make 3 times the rent in order to get approved. Things like that you need to know before you apply, so you're not wasting your time and money. Simple as that. But that is all for this video. I love you guys so much. And if you're new, please follow me. And if you need more apartment advice, I have an ebook, a link in my bio. Everything that you need to know is in that book, and it will help you so much. And I love you guys, and see you guys next time. Bye.